I'm currently hiding in a closet right now so I can get some peace. I'm sorry that I disappeared. I wonder if he's still outside the door. Oh well. I'm not hiding because I'm gonna be hurt or anything. My husband was just talking to me. I'm sorry I disappeared. I have not been having fun. I'm apparently a lot sicker than I thought I was. And sick in a sense of like mental stuff. I'm not like dying. I thought if I could do 100 days of happiness, I would be okay. I could convince myself that I wasn't sick. And so I was trying to force it, and I was lying. I'm not lying about the happy things that happened, but I was lying to myself that if I could prove to myself that I was gonna do 100 days of happiness, that I'd be okay. In fact, I was just trying to put a mask over the extremely broken person underneath. I've had several breakdowns. One of the last ones, not yesterday, was pretty bad. But a couple breakdowns ago, I've had a lot actually. My husband finally confronted me about my eating disorder and that he thought I had put to rest. And it actually was escalating. I have dealt with anorexia since I was pretty much like in second grade. Sorry, I'm not making a lot of eye contact with the camera. I don't like looking at myself, and I don't like looking at like the top of my phone. It feels weird, so I'm like looking off and sorry, I'll try to focus more on you guys as I look away. Old habits. So now I don't know what to do with my eyes. I've dealt with anorexia since I was 7. At least that's when the voices in my head got loud about not eating. And so I just wouldn't eat. And I would tell my mom I was sick in the morning. I didn't want to eat breakfast. No one really paid attention to if I ate lunch or not because, you know, I was in a public school. No one really paid attention to us. It was pretty bad public school. And go home. I'd eat a little bit at dinner because my mom prided herself on cooking us dinner, and if I didn't eat, she'd definitely know something was up, so I'd eat a little bit of dinner and then go to bed not fully satisfied or nourishing my body, and that started a eating disorder that has never quite gone away. I have my phone's like 15%, so I'll try to speak faster. Sorry, I'm just trying to pick my words right because I want to get my story out right. I never broke 100 pounds until I got married when I was 20. I was just always sickly thin. Like, I just wouldn't eat. I would go 3 or 4 days without eating and then eat like one meal's worth of food. And it wasn't like good food either. Like, when I got older, my mom really didn't care about feeding us dinner, making sure we ate. Like, not like she didn't care, but she wasn't like really paying attention as much as when you're a kid and you're like, it's important for you to eat. Like, teenagers, they'll eat, they'll figure it out. So I always was super thin, super thin. Like, when I was 12, I remember they changed the laws in my state that if you weren't over 60 pounds, you'd have to stay in a car seat. And I was terrified because I wasn't over 60 pounds at 12. Oh, it was 11, actually. And so I remember my brother making fun of me that I was going to have to go to the girls group in my church in a car seat because I wasn't over 60 pounds. But apparently there was also a height thing, and I was tall enough to not have to be in a car seat. And that was a huge relief. But I always cherished my thinness. I loved my eating disorder because it was my control. I could control what I ate. I could control how thin I was, and everybody thought I was so beautiful because I was thin. Or at least they envied my body. Maybe they didn't think I was beautiful. I've never really had like that picture perfect face. I always felt like I was kind of goofy looking, but people loved how I looked, like my body. They always wished that they were thin like me. And no one really thought anything of it like, oh, she's just naturally thin. So they didn't really ask questions, or if they did, I denied it and just said, I'm not hungry. I never ate in front of people. I had really bad anxiety about eating in front of people. And then I got married when I was 20. Oh, we're going to skip over the bad relationship I had before, where I was involved with this guy. We got engaged. He kept me in an apartment where she kept the keys. It was like kind of a locked apartment. Like after 8 o'clock, the gates locked at the apartment building. You had to use keys to get through, or a little clicker thing to open the gate. And he kept that, so I couldn't leave the apartment after 8, or I'd be locked out of the house. And he would weigh me regularly. I can never say that word. I'm not good with words. On a regular basis, just to make sure I wasn't gaining weight. And I was 18, 19. My mom had kicked me out of the house. No, I was 18, I think, between 18 and 19. And he would make sure I wasn't gaining weight, and I would go, at that point, I would try to go at least a week without eating. I would drink water, but I would hallucinate because I was so hungry and so stressed, and he would sexually abuse me. We're not getting into that. But anyways, that was a bad part of my life where I wasn't hardly over 80 pounds at 18. I think I was like 86 pounds or something. Like, I'm neurotically scratching my foot right now, and I've actually made it bleed because I'm so stressed thinking about this situation. Anyways, we'll move on. So I got married at 20. I started to gain weight, and it seems like, oh, my eating disorder's getting over because that's how it happens. You know, you just gain weight and you're over your eating disorder. No, it's not really. I did gain weight. I actually gained a lot of weight. There's pictures, like precious pictures of mine that I still won't look at. They're precious because of the situation we were in, of what we were doing, but I won't look at it because of how big I had gotten in such a short time. Like, I never knew I could weigh that much. I grew out of my pants. I had to buy clothes over and over again. I just got big. I don't even know how much I weighed. Which is surprising for me because I'm pretty neurotic about weighing myself. We're going to keep on going because this video is going to be forever. So, oh my gosh, my foot's like really bleeding. Ooh, it's like bleeding pretty bad. That's awesome. We'll take care of that later. So, then I got pregnant, like 23, and had my baby, and I was so obsessed with, losing that weight. I didn't gain that much, and I lost a lot of it after because I was so, even looking back at my old videos, I was so traumatized. I'm losing blood. I can't speak. I was so traumatized during my birth experience and like near death experience that I didn't eat that much. I didn't take care of myself. I've never, ever, ever taken care of myself. I've never known my self-worth. That's another day, another tangent. I smacked myself in the face. So I lost weight. I got pregnant. And 9 months later, after I gave birth to my second son, I got pregnant. And then I gave birth, and my youngest just turned 4 a couple weeks ago. And I have stayed the same weight. No matter what. Last year, I was running 4 miles a day, like 5 days, 6 days a week. and I was making sure I only ate 1,200 calories or 1,800 calories. And yet I stayed the same weight. I don't know. My body, my body changed, like my inches, like I could see I was fitter, but my body stayed pretty much the same weight. I'm like 5'5" right now. I think I'm gonna stay 5'5" for a long time. I am 5'5", and I don't know my exact weight right now because I had to throw out my scale because of how triggering it was that I had to. That was like my first step into actually admitting that I have a major problem still. I had to get rid of my scale because I would neurotically every day weigh myself. And if I had any kind of fluctuation, like with my period, I will go up literally 10 pounds for a week. Like on the dot, the moment my period starts, or like the week before my period, I will go up exactly 10 pounds. The moment it's over, back down 10 pounds. It's just what happens. That's my fluctuation during my period. And unfortunately, about that time, I started weighing myself again, and I noticed that fluctuation. I'm like, what the hell? And so I would go kind of crazy when I weighed myself and I saw that fluctuation. And so I stand at 5'5", and what my normal weight for the last 4 years have been is like 174.4, about pretty much that. No matter if I was running, no matter how many calories I was eating, my body kind of stayed there. I haven't gone past 174. I've gone up, but I haven't gone down past it. And that number is ingrained in my brain, and it's so triggering because it's like I feel so fat. I do have a bit of a belly. My arms are like flabby kind of mom arms, and I like my butt. I have a big butt and I like it. That's like the one part like I appreciate of my weight is my larger derriere. Um, but to me, when I look in the mirror or when I think of myself, I see myself as a morbidly obese person. I know, like, my brain is split. I know that I'm not, but I can't stop my brain from seeing that or putting that in my head I'm like, in my head, I'm like 500 pounds. That's how I see myself. And I know I'm not stupid. I mean, kind of. But my eating disorder tells me I'm 500 pounds and you need to lose weight because you're just so fat. There's nothing wrong with being the size you are. I'm just talking for me. I'm not worried about what other people weigh and what body image people have. I'm just talking about me because that's the problem at hand in my issues right now. And so I talked to my husband came up to me and he's like, are you having issues? Because I told him I'm fine. Like for the last 10 years, we've been married 10 and a half years. I'm like, I have this under control because that's what I've been telling myself. Except I track everything, like mentally, I track everything I eat. And I get to the point where I will starve myself. And then I'll get to the end of the day and then like eat my calories worth right there. Because I'm just so hungry, I'm sick. I developed, hypoglycemia while I was super anorexic, and I'm not sure if that's something that you develop. I haven't talked to a doctor, so I'm not sure if that's something. I know I developed because of my anorexia. I'm not sure if that's something that got cured because I got a healthier weight, or it's something that I'm keeping forever. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to a doctor as of recently. So my blood sugar does drop. I feel it and I get woozy and stuff, and I'm not sure if that's the hypoglycemia. I remember that feeling when I was starving myself, but that was a whole different situation. So I don't know if there's a medical issue with me about my blood sugar. I'm not sure if how much damage I did to my body throughout most of my life of starving myself. But my husband, he's like, there's something wrong. I can tell. And I lied to myself for so long of how bad my eating disorder is getting. And I know I'm 174 at 5'5". I'm BMI, I'm overweight. But mentally, I'm anorexic, and I act like an anorexic. I just don't show it, and I don't know why. I wish that my body would, because then people might take notice. I'm so scared to talk to people because they're going to look at me and be like, you're not anorexic, you're overweight. But let's get to where my husband talked to me, and it finally came out that I had not been eating, that I've been throwing up, that I was gonna start buying laxatives, because I felt like that was my golden ticket. That was when I was gonna start seeing results, and I was sure that that's when I was gonna start losing weight that I want to lose so badly. And so he talked to me, and I had to be honest with myself for the first time in my whole life. Instead of saying that I'm fine, I had to say I need help. I have never done that because no one's taken notice of me. They thought I was just the lucky genetics, that I won the genetic code of thinness. I didn't. I was just starving myself. And it's gotten bad. It's gotten so bad that, I mean, it's been bad for a while. It's been bad my whole life. But lately, in my head, I've always had self-loathing. I've always hated myself. No matter what I accomplished, no matter what I did, no matter what I triumphed over, I've never done it good enough for me. I've always had that voice in my head of just self-hatred, self-loathing. Just, I don't know what self-care is. I thought I could push it away with 100 days of happiness. 5 days, or 5 things a day. I'm sorry. So I have really bad phone anxiety. So my husband's tomorrow is just making sure my foot's not bleeding onto the white rug or carpeting. Yeah, my husband's gonna call our insurance tomorrow and get me set up with whatever doctor, therapist, nutritionist, whatever they need to help me on my way. And so I'm gonna start getting help, because I've been fighting for most of my life for someone to take notice and help me. My phone is dying. Dang it, it's at 5%. So I might continue this. I don't know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to this rant. I know it's long, but I just need to get off my chest that I am not okay. I haven't been okay for a long time, and I'm going to get help now, and I hope it helps, because I don't know what else to do.